Yo, what is good people? Ben from Lover of Tech, and we are back with another video. This time it's a camera comparison, Z Flip 5 versus the Z Flip 4 and also the Pixel 7 Pro. I've thrown a spanner in the works. We're doing a freeway. I said I would never do this again, but here we are trying to see how do these two flip phones over £1,000 in the UK stack up against a normal slab flagship phone that is actually under £1,000. Yeah, we're gonna test it daylight, low light, front facing and rear cameras to see how they work with the camera for video and photos. Before then, quick spec breakdown. Quick breakdown of the camera hardware and specs, starting with both the Z Flip 5 and Z Flip 4, which are both working with a 12 megapixel rear camera with an ultra wide and a wide sensor, and a 10 megapixel selfie with a slight improvement to the aperture and field of view on the Z Flip 5 at f2.2 and 23 millimeters. The Pixel 7 Pro is using a 50 megapixel main sensor, a 48 megapixel 5x optical zoom lens, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide with a 10.8 megapixel selfie. The best way to watch this camera comparison is at the highest resolution and frame rate at 4K 60 with headphones and on the largest display possible. There will be chapters linked in the description, but sit back, relax, watch the camera comparison from beginning to end, and you should be in for a good one. So we are starting with the front-facing cameras on the Z Flip 5, the Flip 4 and the Pixel 7 Pro. Again, just seeing how the image quality stabilization is like. We are in the 4K 60 frames a second video recording mode, seeing how the dynamic range, image quality, colors, stabilization is like. Quick run. We've now switched to the 4K 30 frames a second video recording mode. Again, pretty much going through the same motion on the Z Flip 5, Z Flip 4, as well as the Pixel 7 Pro. Just seeing how the image quality is like, as well as the stabilization. Just overall difference to see if there's an improvement between these three phones. Quick run. We've now switched over to the 1080p 30 frames a second video recording mode on the Z Flip 5, the Flip 4, as well as the Pixel 7 Pro. Difference is both the Flip 5 and the Flip 4 are in their video portrait mode on the selfie. I will be honest, with the upgrade to the 8 Gen 2 Snapdragon mobile platform built for Galaxy on the Flip 5, I was expecting a 4K option UHD like found on the S23 series for the portrait mode in video, but it's still 1080p just like the Flip 4. Yeah, quite disappointed in that retrospect, but thought I would actually mention that to see the difference. We are now recording on the rear cameras on the Z Flip 5, the Flip 4, as well as the Pixel 7 Pro, starting in the 4K 30 frames a second video recording mode. Again, just seeing how the image quality is like, stabilization, colors, detail. Quick run. I'm going to switch to the ultra wide on all three, which do allow you to continuously record on the same clip. Quick run. Just gonna check the sky exposure, move it around, come around. We're gonna switch back to the main. Switch back to the main. Now, of course, the advantage the Pixel does have is it does have a 5x optical zoom. Whereas these are all digital zoom within the same equivalence, moving it to around 5x. So you can see the clarity difference there. Back to the main, back to the main. Now, all three do give you the advantage of being able to pause and continue recording on the same clip and take pictures while recording on the same clip in 4K 30. But the Galaxy Z Flip 5 and the Z Flip 4 allow you to switch to the selfie camera while recording on the same clip. That's something you can't do on a Pixel. So as you can see, all on the same clip without stopping recording. We've now switched to the 4K 60 frames per second video recording mode on the Z Flip 5, the Flip 4, as well as the Pixel 7 Pro. Again, pretty much running through the motion, see how the image quality is like, the colors, detail, dynamic range, and stabilization. Quick run. Here's one limitation you'll see that is still there on the Flip 5 compared to the Flip 4. You cannot record in 4K 60 frames per second on an ultra-wide camera at all. There's no option. This is something you can do on the Pixel 7 Pro. In fact, the Pixel 7 Pro is still probably one of only few smartphone cameras while you're recording on the same clip in 4K 60, you can switch between the rear lenses. So you're on ultra-wide, 2x crop on the main, and go all the way up to 5x. And that's still on in 4K 60 on the same clip. Flip 5 is still limited to the main camera, as well as the same for the Flip 4. Difference is, on 4K 60, you can flip to the selfie camera while recording on the same clip. Still in 4K UHD 60 frames per second. So we've now switched to the super stable mode on the Z Flip 5, which now records in QHD 1440p, as well as the same on the Flip 4, but that is in 1080p 30, and the active stabilization of the Pixel 7 Pro, which is also in 1080p 30. We're just going to do a very powerful extreme run to see how the stabilization holds on all three. So we switch to the rear cameras in 4K 30 frames per second with me in the frame as the subject. Again, just seeing how it renders skin tones, details, colors, dynamic range, and pretty much seeing how it's like. Still in 4K 30 frames per second video recorder mode, but as you can see, we've switched to the ultra wide to see how the image quality is like in a perspective, seeing how it changes and if there's any real difference between the three. So we've now switched to the cinematic video and the video portrait mode. All of them do record in 1080p, and pretty much just seeing how the image quality is like. Again, the Pixel doesn't do it on a selfie, it only does it on the rear main cameras, and we're just seeing how the image quality is like stationary with the edge detection to see how it works. Right, I'm gonna start walking. So we are in 4K UHD 60 frames per second on the rear cameras. Again, just seeing how the image quality changes, dynamic range stabilization, as well as the colors of the skin tones. Now, what you're gonna notice is that the Pixel does allow you to switch to the ultra wide, as you can see now. And that's because it can do it on the same clip while recording in 4K 60, and it shoots it in 4K 60. The flips are still limited to the main cameras. So back to the main camera on the Pixel. Hopefully you can see the difference between the three. We are now recording in the 4K 30 frames per second video recording mode on the rear main cameras on the Flip 5, the Flip 4, and the Pixel 7 Pro. Just seeing how the low light performance is like. Let's switch to the ultra wide. and switch back to the main. Now I'm testing out the selfie video recording in 4K 30 on the Flip 5, Flip 4, as well as the Pixel 7 Pro. Let's kick things off with the daytime landscape photos, starting with the ultra-wide images. The image produced on the Z Flip 4 sits somewhere between the more contrasty look of the Pixel 7 Pro in the skies and the vibrant image of the foreground with the grass, objects and buildings of the Galaxy Z Flip 5. When moving to the main wide sensor, this carries over to be very similar in terms of the image processing, but I would say the Pixel 7 Pro holds overall more detail, while the Z Flip 5 has a more balanced and pleasing image. When shooting in the 2x zoom mode, this is applying a crop on the main sensor, and with the high-res 50 megapixel sensor of the Pixel 7 Pro, it does produce a sharper image, while the Flip 5 indeed does resolve a better image with improved HDR in the shadows. The real challenge for the Z Flip 5 and 4 is when moving to the extended zoom ranges, as they lack a dedicated zoom lens compared to the Pixel 7 Pro's 5x optical zoom lens. It falls apart more, but in the case of the Flip 5, how the grass is processed is a lot better. Another thing to consider is the close focusing capabilities of the three devices. With the main wide sensor, the Z Flip 5 and 4 can get closer to the flower for a more in-focus image compared to the Pixel 7 Pro. The advantage of the Pixel 7 Pro is the macro mode, which when enabled allows a much closer shot. When it comes to the front-facing camera images from the normal, wide and portrait mode, I was equally surprised and not at the same time. In order of the best overall images, it would be in this case the Pixel 7 Pro, followed by the Flip 4 and then the Galaxy Z Flip 5. Edge detection and blur is good on all three devices, with me personally preferring the process of taking portraits on Samsung due to the real-time viewing process. Last set of daylight images with the rear cameras with me in the frame as the subject. It's a hard pick between the three, as they all produce a solid image with great detail, colors and dynamic range. When moving to the ultra-wide, I much prefer the wider field of view on the Flip 5 and 4, with the Flip 5 producing a better overall image. With portrait mode, there is a heavy crop on the Pixel 7 Pro, which not only limits the field of view, but reduces the final image quality compared to the flip phones. In this case, you can see the slight improvements on the Flip 5 when it comes to the final image, backed with Samsung's top-level edge detection and blur. Let's move over to the nighttime images. Using the main wide sensor without night mode, I will say the image on the Flip 4 is actually preferred over both the Flip 5 and the Pixel 7 Pro, which although not by much, translates to be near enough the same on the ultra-wide lens images. Night mode is the difference maker, which cleans up any noise in the image, especially in the sky, which is a huge improvement for the ultra-wide angle lens. For the low light selfie shots, images were captured first without night mode, then with night mode, and followed by the front screen flash. The same capture sequence was replicated for portrait mode, so let me know your thoughts of the images in the comments section below. Last set of low light images with the rear cameras with me in the frame as a subject. When comparing night mode active and not active, although the Flip 5 does produce a clean and bright image, it does so at the cost of clipping the highlights on my face compared to that of the Flip 4 and the Pixel 7 Pro. But overall, the images produced on all three do well. Let's summarize the video performance, starting with the selfie camera. Focusing more on the Z Flip 5, there is a slight improvement to the exposure control, especially in the clouds. Stabilization is also slightly improved, and color accuracy when it comes to the color of my jacket. The Z Flip 5 and Z Flip 4 still have the advantage over the Pixel 7 Pro with the ability to record portrait video on the selfie camera, but it's a shame to see the Flip 5 is still limited to 1080p, even with the new ISP and chipset. When it comes to the rear cameras, the biggest improvement is in the super stable video mode, which now records in QHD 1440p, up from 1080p, and with much better video stabilization as well. The same limitations still apply on the Z Flip 5 compared to before, with no ability to record in 4K 60 on the ultra wide angle lens, and still having 1080p and video portrait mode. But overall, stabilization has improved with better colors and dynamic range. That is it with this ultimate 3 rear camera comparison between the Z Flip 5, the Z Flip 4, and the Google Pixel 7 Pro. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. That's it for me, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, you know exactly what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.